Welcome to Roundup Reddit. Today, we have a collection of 3 fascinating stories that explore boundaries, trust, and family dynamics. Sit back, relax, and let's dive into these incredible stories. Story 1. Changing in front of your partner. I'm not 100% sure if I'm posting this in the exact right place, but I feel safe here and wonder if anyone else can relate or has any insight on how to navigate this. I'm low libido for you, and our bedroom is in recovery. It was never quite dead, but it got close. I've always been aware of this, but it never occurred to me to analyze it. Whenever I change in front of my partner, he looks at me. And maybe if he just looked, I wouldn't feel the need to analyze it. But he stares, and sometimes it goes beyond that. Like I can tell he saw me because he'll inhale sharply or I'll catch him licking his lips. And it probably wouldn't bother me if this was limited to me changing or undressing because we're about to be intimate, but it's not. Before our intimacy decreased, it didn't really bother me. Sometimes I didn't notice. Sometimes, like if it was a precursor to intimacy, I was flattered. But lately it's started to feel off. And I recently realized I've been changing in the bathroom or the closet or somewhere where he can't see me unless I want to be intimate. It's not that I have a problem with him looking at me or finding me attractive, but sometimes it just gives me the ick. It's really hard for me to believe I'm more than just a sexual object when I can't even change shirts without this reaction. Has anything like this happened to anyone else? Was it weird for you? If you managed to move past this or discuss this with your partner, how did you do it? I want to tell him it bothers me sometimes, but I'm worried about how he'll take it if I say this the wrong way. I'm glad he's attracted to me. I just want to be able to change or undress without feeling objectified, or wondering if it will be misconstrued as an invitation when I legit just want to change into something comfortable. Any advice is appreciated. We've made a lot of progress, and I don't want to undo it. Update. I haven't really had a chance to update this, but I appreciate everyone's suggestions and support. Also, thank you to everyone that shared their experience. We talked about this, and several of you were right. He did feel hurt by it at first, but I made a point to let him know that the way he was making me uncomfortable was detrimental to our progress. I reminded him that I want sex with him, but when he stares at me like it's a turnoff for me, I said that it feels like pressure, like he's expecting me to take things further from there, and that actually makes me less inclined to have sex with him. I experience desire in a more responsive way than he does. We've discussed this in an attempt to figure out what I respond positively or negatively to, and this goes on the list of negatives. I identified a positive as well and gave him an example of what I do like. Sometimes he will look at me whether I'm clothed or not without any theatrics and just smile at me and say he loves me. He usually follows it up with a kiss if I'm close to him. I told him those moments feel totally different. They make me feel loved, safe, and connected to him, and it's easier for me to become aroused when I feel that way. For a moment, we sat in silence while he considered this. When he spoke again, he apologized for making me feel uncomfortable, but that he understood. I accepted his apology and told him that I love that he does find me attractive and that I appreciated him hearing me out. We talked some more about how we both feel about the state of our relationship, and we agree we're headed in the right direction, and our communication is getting better. We still have some things to work out, but we both think it's possible. Thank you all again for supporting me through this. Story 2. My boyfriend took his shirt off in front of me for the first time. My 21 female boyfriend, 21 male. And I have been together for 8 months, and he has been hesitant to take his shirt off around me. He was molested by one of his uncles from the age of 9 until he was 13 years old, and the trauma he has is still there. He never took his shirt off as a kid and gets really uncomfortable when people touch him. He didn't let me hug him or hold his hand the first month we were together, and the first time he asked for a hug, I nearly cried. He is the most handsome man in the world and has the biggest heart imaginable. I'm happy to be his girlfriend. He is really into fitness and goes to the gym almost every day. He started working out when he was 15 as a way for him to take back control of his body, and he really enjoys it. He struggles with anxiety and considers me and the gym his safe spaces. He has a really nice body and works hard to maintain his physique. Last night he came to my apartment and was complaining about being sore. We were laying on my bed watching TV, and he kept moving around and trying to get comfortable. He fell down some stairs 2 months ago and sprained his AC joint, and yesterday was the first time he has been able to work out that shoulder. He was really uncomfortable, so I asked him if I could rub and massage it for him. He shut the idea down, but I assured him that he was safe with me, and I would not do anything to him he didn't want. He was still unsure, but said he wanted to take this step with me. I offered to take my shirt off with him, and after a minute of reassurance, he agreed. We took off our shirts, and he looked so beautiful. He moved up in front of me, and I began rubbing his shoulders. He flinched at first, but relaxed and said it was helping. He asked me not to touch his lower back, so I stayed around his shoulders and neck. I massaged his shoulders for about a half hour and told him all the things I love about him, and he He was so calm and relaxed. He spent the night, and when I woke up this morning, he was in between my arms. We didn't go to sleep like that, so he must have moved next to me in the middle of the night. I started rubbing his back, and he woke up and moved closer. It was our first time sharing a moment of intimacy, and it was so beautiful. He left an hour later and sent me a text thanking me for treating him with love and respect. I did it! He trusts me with his body. I will love and respect him for as long as I live. Story 3. Am I the asshole for asking mother-in-law to not get undressed in front of me and my husband? Mother-in-law is being very weird. Help! My husband, 21 male, and I, 20 female, live with his mother and his little sister, 9 female. His father travels for work a lot, so most of the time, it's just the 3 of us. At first, I got along really well with his mother. Things were going so well that when she asked me to move in, because of financial reasons on my end, I was over the moon. My husband is my first healthy relationship, and I thought of his mother as a second mother figure to me. And everything fell apart when she began walking naked around the house after a shower or when getting ready. Their family had financial problems in the past, so my husband wasn't able to have his own room when he was 11. So he has been naked in front of her after a shower as well. He has stopped doing it since I told him I didn't think it was normal. I was sexually abused as a child, so her nudity made me uncomfortable and sad. At first, I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to tell her what to do in her own home. But one day I cried for hours because of it. I told my husband what happened and explained to him the reason. He told her that something happened to me as a child and to not undress in front of us anymore. Well, she got mad because he didn't tell her the whole reason. But she did begin to cover up for like a week, and then she began to undress in front of us again. I'm talking no bra. And I finally broke down and cried again. My husband had noticed it too, but we were kind of giving her the benefit of the doubt. Another problem that I saw is that she treats him like a husband and often mistreats hers in front of us. She has always complained to my husband since he was a child and would get mad at him if he expressed that it burdened him. He had to deal with her depression as well and had to take up on a lot of chores that would be normally assigned to her or his father if he was able to stay at home. Recently, she has also expressed that we are too many people in the house, which I found rude because she was the one who suggested for me to come live with them. Anyway, I didn't react to that because she was angry and I didn't want to upset her. And I also know it can be difficult to live with a lot of people in an enclosed space. Another problem that has occurred to me is that she is too weird towards him. She makes sexual or just plain weird comments to him. One time, we went to a pool and he hugged me and then her and she said, "Be careful, other people might think something if they saw you hug us both." Another time she wore leggings that were revealing and my husband didn't like them. So one time, she wore them and said, "Here are your favorite leggings." He wore his father's boxers one time because they were dirty and they were very short. She then said, "They are very sexy. Turn around and let me see your butt," while laughing. She also often shows him ass pictures of celebrities or random women and says, "Look, she has an ugly ass," or some other weird thing. 2 days ago, I told her the whole story of what happened when I was a child, and her first words were, "I think it's better not to tell anyone." Then proceeded to say that she thought that I was just being bratty and cried because of nothing. So she got angry and lashed out on us. Then tried to play the victim by saying that she has done so much for me and that she felt like I was being ungrateful. But then she said, "I knew something like that happened, but I wasn't sure who did it." She told me that she wasn't going to tell my secret to anyone, including her husband. Guess who knew about it the next day? Her husband. We talked to them that we wanted to move out, which she completely shut down because, "You can't move, I can't drive. I'm not going to stay alone with your sister. You know that I'm going to fall back into depression. Your sister is little still." Then proceeded to manipulate him with other personal things. I tried to stand up to her and she lost it. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for kids helping their parents when they need it, but they should be able to respect their kids' boundaries and wants as well. My husband has spent all his childhood dealing with her problems and helping her raise his sister. She doesn't recognize the things that he has done for them, and she isn't willing to try and act better. The other day when we were all in the living room, she told us that she was going to tell my grandmother and my aunt my secret, then proceeded to say that she was going to do everything to make us two break up. My husband and his father tried to talk to her, but she didn't listen to any of it. She laid around depressed and crying, and when we went to bed, I could clearly hear her screaming to his father that I was brainwashing him, and she has always been nice to me, and I was being very mean towards her, which I asked my husband for his perspective, because I can't remember a time when I was other than nice to her. He couldn't as well. Even when she said that she was going to break us up, I was trying to have a calm conversation with her and told told her how much I appreciated that she let me stay with them, even though she was acting very disrespectfully. I also heard her say that she had undressed in front of us after that, only once because she was rushing, which is a complete lie, because that has happened more than 7 times in the span of a month, if not more. Then, she also yelled that she didn't have to be the one to deal with my problems. Then, my husband couldn't take it anymore and yelled at her, trying to get her to see things from his perspective, which led to her yelling that I wasn't letting him go out with his friends and go to parties, which the first thing isn't true. He has always been able to go out with friends. I even asked him if he felt like I was stopping him from seeing them, and he told me that he doesn't. There were times when she was the one calling him if he was out with his friends late at night, using me as an excuse for her controlling behavior. And for him not being able to go to parties alone, that is just a rule in our relationship that we had both agreed on. I'm not going to parties alone, and he isn't as well. She apologized today crying, and I accepted her apology because I want us to act civil with one another. But I don't want to live with her still, and we plan on looking at moving out as soon as we're able to. Am I being unreasonable, and what do you think of the situation? Have you had a relationship with an overbearing parent, and how did that affect you? Please share your stories or just advice, because we think that it will be helpful for us to see things clearly. Thank you in advance for your time. That's it for today's episode of Roundup Reddit. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, take care and stay curious.